Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PHLY Eagles podcast, Wednesday, 4-ish p.m. Bo Wulf, Zach Berman. We have just seen the Philadelphia Eagles practice as a full team for the first time this entire season. An open OTA spring. Zach, how you feeling?
I am doing great. I am sorry. I have our show in the background. I am doing great. I'm excited for the show. Excited to talk about OTAs. Was great being out there. Was awesome seeing you at practice and seeing a bunch of others of our friends and colleagues. And yeah, much to discuss. It was
Much
football.
to discuss. We're going to get
Football,
to all
a version of football, spring
the
football.
depth chart notes that you need to know. Were there any interesting plays that happened? How did everybody look? What were the vibes like? Who did Zach smell? All that good stuff. We got a lot to talk about, my friend.
I'm ready to do it. It feels like training camp when we come fresh off the field and here we are talking. It gets me excited for July and August. This is like the appetizer for July and August.
So let's just sort of set the stage of what it is that we saw. I mean, this is not a full pads on practice.
No.
They're wearing shorts and shells. There's really not a lot of anything at all going on the line of scrimmage. It's 7-on-7 and individual drills and some special team stuff. Nothing crazy, but you do see some interesting depth chart things. Now, keeping in mind that this is a voluntary practice, players do not have to be there. It is also one of the only ones that we see. The Eagles have 6 OTAs. We see 2 of them. So, for instance, they practiced on Monday. They could have done something completely different with the depth chart than they did today. And we may see something different next week, but we will tell you what we did see and what was interesting. And Zach, do you want to just go back and forth? Like, what was the most interesting thing you saw? Do you want to
Sure.
just run down the list? How do you want to play this bad boy?
I would say let's start with the top of with the attendance, even though it's not mandatory, like we know, but it colors our discussion, right?
Good point.
If we talk about a player, if we talk about Isaiah Rodgers at cornerback, it matters who's not there, right? So let's get into attendance and some depth chart notes, and then we'll
Lane
get into
Johnson
operations.
was not there. Devontae Smith was not there. Josh Sweat was not there. I think all 3 of those, who cares? As long as they're healthy and breathing somewhere, that's all that matters. Those guys are not losing their spots. You don't have any expectation that they're not going to be ready to go or that they're unhappy with their contract or anything like that. Then you had the 2 other notable ones, both at cornerback, James Bradberry and Keely Ringo. Now, I would say Keely Ringo, my guess is this was just a sort of a blip on the radar. Like, I would be pretty surprised if he hasn't been here most of the spring and he's not going to be here next week. I would guess that is some kind of excused absence. It would be pretty bizarre otherwise for him. The James Bradberry one, what do you make of that, Zach? Do you think that is a prelude to a divorce, or do you think that is just more along the Ringo lines if he just didn't happen to be there today?
Speaking as guessing here, not with an understanding yet of what the circumstance is, my guess is that's more an arranged thing, that he's not going to be back. The Eagles aren't expecting him to be back, and it's just kind of understood to buy time. There's going to be a resolution in about 2 weeks. That's my guess on this. You don't want to risk injury, right? Maybe he wants to train elsewhere. Right? There's that would be my guess. We'll see next week if he's there. I could be wrong, but I would think that's probably an understanding between the 2 sides.
We'll see at mandatory minicamp if he's there. That would be interesting if he's not at that one. Okay, so I think the most interesting depth chart thing that happened was a result of Ringo and Bradberry not being there, and that was that Isaiah Rodgers, was the first team right cornerback opposite Darius Slay with the starters. It was not Quinyon Mitchell. Now, my honest reaction to that is that they're just not putting a rookie into the starting lineup right now. And again, starting lineup is like such an air quotes thing to say. The nominal first team for an OTA practice, I think you want a rookie to earn his way up there. But I would have also thought that maybe you wanted Isaiah Rodgers to earn his way, earn his keep a little bit more, because this is not someone who was with the Eagles and then got suspended and then came back to a team he knows. He's a newcomer to the coaching staff, to the front office, to the locker room. So I thought it was a little bit interesting that he was out there, and I thought he looked pretty good for the most part. There was one play where AJ Brown beat him on a comeback route on a nice throw from AJ Brown. The coverage was pretty good. A good comparison I heard on the sidelines, just aesthetically and from how he moves and how he looks. Isaiah Rodgers reminds me a bit of Kerry Williams. He's got the loose fitting arm sleeves,
Okay.
which brings Kerry Williams to mind. And I actually thought, he's listed at 5'10", 170 something. He plays a little bit. He looks and plays a little bit bigger than that, I thought.
So I didn't have the Kerry Williams thought, but I did have the thought you just said. And I was going to make a joke that everyone seems taller than me, right? But he did seem to me like a bigger corner than I guess I thought going into this. I
Yeah,
don't know if it's because of like the potential slot talk or whatnot, but he looked like he had a good long frame when I was watching him.
yeah, I thought so too. And so, to me, if we're just playing stock up, stock down on like what did guys look like, where were they being used versus your expectations heading into the day, he would be sort of number one stock up just in terms of like where he fits on the roster at the moment.
I would agree with you. And I had the same sentiment. I was surprised to see him there. I was surprised for the reason you said. Maybe you put a returning player there. Now, who would that be? Like maybe Eli Ricks before he went out could have been
Job,
in there, but Job, exactly. But I thought maybe when I didn't see Bradbury, and I didn't notice Ringo wasn't there until the 7-on-7s, but when I didn't see Bradbury during stretching, I thought, ooh, Quinyon Mitchell could be in with the ones today, right?
right?
Because I thought it would be a little bit of a leap to put Mitchell there ahead of Bradbury. But when Mitchell was behind Rodgers, and I understand you want the rookie to earn his keep, I get that, but it's this thing you said, like Isaiah Rodgers isn't this tenured entrenched player where you would put him there, so that did surprise me.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, this is sort of football coachy, right? A rookie has to earn his way, earn his keep. There were no rookies anywhere who were working with the first team, even at wide receiver where they were a little bit depleted, or at corner. So I think that's the real reason for it. Quinyon Mitchell, Isaiah Rodgers, I would be pretty surprised if he's starting over Quinyon Mitchell come week
Yeah.
one. That would be an upset. But I think it was an interesting reflection of Isaiah Rodgers. Let's keep it on
Wait,
on corner.
wait. By the
corner.
way, I never really like that part of it. Like I
It's
get
silly.
if it's a down the depth, if it's a fourth round pick or something, I get it, or even like a third. But your first round pick, there's no reason you can't have them with the ones this early. It kind of reminds me of. I mean, it's not apples for apples here, but that year when Trevor Lawrence was the number one pick and Urban Meyer had like him and Gardner Minshew splitting reps the entire summer.
What are
It's
we
like, what
doing?
are you trying to accomplish here? Yeah, exactly. If Quinyon Mitchell is a player who is in contention to start,
I
put him
mean,
with the
Jalen
starters.
Carter had to start with the second team last year, right? Like,
Exactly. Yeah, I don't look at that.
who are
I
we
don't get
fooling? Yeah.
exactly.
Now, I also think part of the reason that it would be Isaiah Rodgers and not like Josh Jobe on a day like this is because this is a new coaching staff. This is a new defensive coordinator.
Sure.
If it was Sean Desai or whoever it was, somebody who had experience with these guys, then maybe it would be Job in that situation. But for Fangio, everybody's new. He's leaning on experience, and I think that sort of plays into a lot of the other things we saw on the defensive depth chart, which we will get to. So let's stick at corner. Quinyon Mitchell worked as the second team right corner. Did not see him switch sides at all, just sticking to the right side, which was a little bit interesting. Not tested a ton. Thought he moved well. He was thrown at two deep balls, both against Jacob Harris in tight coverage. Both times incomplete. The first one, he was sort of step for step with Jacob Harris. Now, Jacob Harris, for those unfamiliar, which let's hope is most of you, 27 years old, bigger body, 6'3", journeyman, but has some speed to him. Quinyon Mitchell was running stride for stride with him on the first one, which was overthrown by Kenny Pickett, fell incomplete. The second one, Harris almost made sort of a back shoulder underthrown catch, but lost it on his way down. Mitchell, it's one day of practice, but he looked athletic enough at least for what you were expecting.
There was a play in front of me where Mitchell had a pass breakup.
Oh, he did have a
Was
pass
that
pickup. You're right. Yes.
yeah, that was Okay. Yeah. I was hoping as you said that I didn't categorize. I did not have the wrong person doing that. Yeah. I don't want to make any wholesale evaluations of Mitchell, but he certainly he passed the Donnell Pumphrey test, right?
for the
It's not
day.
like you
Yeah.
saw, yeah, it's not like you saw him out there and you're like, oh my god, what did the Eagles just do? You know,
Right.
I think yeah, it was a fine day for Mitchell.
Okay. So two important and interesting bits of information from the cornerback sort of versatility standpoint. One is the one that we talked about yesterday. Where is Cooper DeJean going to line up? Are they going to put him in the nickel? Are they going to put him on the outside? Are they going to put him at safety? Are they going to ask him to become an expert at one before putting more stuff on his plate? Immediately, first time we saw Cooper DeJean was as the second team nickel, but then as practice goes on, he's spending time as an outside corner on the left side, as an outside corner on the right side. So the Eagles embracing that versatility from Cooper DeJean. He didn't make a ton of plays. There was one play where Britton Covey beat him on an out route, but I thought it was interesting just from a player development plan. How are they going to bring this guy along? They are putting everything on his plate, at least as a cornerback. No safety today, and I don't really expect that that'll be on his plate until later. But from a cornerback standpoint, from day one, you're here to learn the inside and the outside, and let's see how you handle it.
Yeah, well said. You and I had the same read there. It jumped out to me that they were moving him around early. That it wasn't like, all right, just major in this, and then come August 15th, we'll let you do that. They definitely are looking at him as a versatile player, and I think the fact that he was the second team slot jumps out at me because Avonte Maddox is not entrenched in that role as the starter right now. Right, Avonte needs to prove himself. Avonte needs to stay healthy,
Now he was
and
just to be fair for the day. He was not only the second team
no,
slot.
but
Tyler Hall also spent time
yes,
as the second team slot, so that was like a little rotation
yeah,
that they had.
but that was the first way he was used,
Yes,
and I think he can push for time in the slot this year. And well, you'll get to some other depth chart notes, but the way Maddox was used also
that's the
interesting.
second. That's the
Yeah,
second note here, and that is that in Maddox, somewhat surprisingly, I thought, given that Fangio doesn't have a ton of experience with Avonte Maddox, was starting as the initial first team nickel, and then throughout practice spent a lot of time rotating as a first team safety with C.J. Gardner Johnson and Reed Blankenship. Now C.J. Gardner Johnson left practice at one point and came back, but even when everybody was there healthy, Maddox was taking some time playing alongside both Gardner Johnson and Blankenship at times. And so, Maddox's path to the roster, it would seem like that is an important part of what he is bringing to the table. Obviously, keeping in mind that Sidney Brown is not out there right now practicing. He's out there, but he's not practicing as he works his way back from a torn ACL.
yeah, you and I again in lockstep here. That jumped out to me. I imagine that jumped out to everyone watching practice. When we did the 53-man roster last Monday, I went light on safeties. I didn't think there was a fourth safety to keep. And part of the reason I said is because you have some of these corners who can put, or these slot guys who can play safety, Maddox and Cooper DeJean among them. So the fact that they're using Maddox in that role, I think bodes well for Maddox's spot on the team this year. But I think it could also show that they can go lighter at safety. That if Mekhi Garner doesn't blow them away this summer, that you can trust the fact that Maddox or Cooper DeJean could potentially slide over in a pinch, and you can get by there.
Okay, well said. Linebacker, Zach. Now, Nakobe Dean not participating in team drills on this day as he works his way back from a pair of Liz Frank injuries. But he was sort of like, if you watched individual drills, it went Devin White and then Nakobe Dean and then the rest of the guys. But for the team portion, very interesting from a guy who we talked about yesterday. Where is he going to line up? Zach Bond, the ex-Saint who spent most of his time in New Orleans on special teams or as a rotational edge player. But Vic Fangio, when he was asked about the inside linebackers a couple weeks ago, the first person he brought up was Zach Bond. And on this day, it was Zach Bond next to Devin White as a first team off-ball linebacker.
Yeah, that was our big question, or I should say one of our questions going into practice. was what's that linebacker group going to look like? And the fact that Bond is playing on the inside as an off-ball backer and is that high on the depth chart, I think shows you that him being front of mind that day for Vic Fangio was not coincidental. That it might have been, I don't want to say deliberate, but he's very much in the mix there. Now, we'll see what happens when Nakobe Dean gets healthy. But I do think they're taking a hard look at Zach Bond at that spot. There's no other reason why you would have him over Oren Burks or even Jeremiah Trout. Well, not Jeremiah Trout Jr., but someone like
It's
Oren
kind of
Burks.
it's kind of a bold gambit. I mean, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Let's keep in mind that this is May 22nd.
Sure.
But you know, linebacker, a position where like reps and instincts matter so much, to throw a guy there who has been in the league and hasn't done it it's bold.
Yeah, but that was Vic Fangio's comment to us was that he hasn't done it, but they think he can do it. They think he has the athleticism to do it. And so, interestingly, when the Eagles, what jumps out to me is when the Eagles signed him and we spoke to him at that press conference. Bond's thing was, yeah, the Saints were trying to play me here, and I think I'm much better as an edge rusher. So he seemed to really be excited about the opportunity to be an edge rusher.
Right.
And then,
He wanted to be
so
Ben
this
Ginkel.
is, yeah, so this is a little bit different than maybe he than he even thought when he signed up for to to come here. But look, if he's competing for a starting spot, that certainly makes sense. Again, I expect that to be Nakobe Dean, and we'll get to observations. But I liked what I saw a bit from Devin White, just in shorts and shells. But yeah, that jumped out that Zach Bond was there.
All right. Well, if you wanted to be able to watch practice today in the blazing sun of South Philadelphia, you might have needed some Shady Rays, because Shady Rays is the best place to get sunglasses, and you're going to get hooked up if you are a PHLY Eagles podcast listener, because Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor adventures, including watching Jason Poe, because we got to get to Jason Poe, my favorite player that I saw today. Shady Rays has hundreds of options to choose from, so you are bound to find the perfect pair to match your style. They probably have a style in your favorite team's colors. If you don't love your shades, here's the thing. Shady Rays, you are not going to get better customer service, not just from a different competing sunglasses company. You're not going to get better customer service with any product on the market, because if you don't love your shades, you can exchange your Shady Rays for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support. So, we're hooking you up. They're hooking you up. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code PHLY for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 sickos.
I saw Joya on Monday. Always look forward to seeing her at the start of the week. Said how was your weekend? And said great. She went to the Phillies game, right? Because there's no better place to be right now, or no hotter place to be right now than watching the best team in baseball. And if you don't have tickets and you want to get tickets, the place you should turn is Game Time, because Game Time is the authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seats, and the lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. What I love about it, I always talk about this, is the view from all seats in the venue, because, look, I love technology, and you have the technology here to see what it looks like in your seat, so you're not buying an obstructed view seat, or you're not buying a seat that you don't have the right angle of the batter's box, or whatever it may be. So make sure you check that out on Game Time. And you can also feel good to know that they have the lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest priced, guaranteed.
I feel like people think this has been too football heavy so far, don't you think?
I don't know what people think. I mean, I think some people might like that. Some people might want more Bo being Bo.
That's why Baskin Robbins says 31 different flavors.
That's exactly right. Yep.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. I mean, a busy day, but good day. I look forward to watching practice. I like action, right? And that's action. There's so much. This is not a
Too
knock
early for mistress talk.
on covering football, but there's so many times when you're talking about inaction, right? Like you're speculating what's going to happen. Here, something happened that you can talk about. So I like that. Good day.
Okay. Let's talk some offensive depth chart.
How about you, by the way? How are you today?
I'm very well.
What's the highlight of your day today?
Highlight of my day today was donuts with dad at school.
What kind of donut you go with?
I had a chocolate glaze. It was slim pickings. I let everybody else sort of go first, and then not great choices, but got to hang out with Jane in her class for a little bit. A good 20-minute session.
That's awesome. Did any of the students recognize you from the PHLY Eagles show?
Any students? No.
Yes. Any parents?
Students recognize me as Jane's dad. Yeah.
Any parents?
No. But I know these people already.
We got to spread that out. We got to make it so, you're Bo Wulf from the PHLY Eagles show.
I already know these people. This is like the end of the year.
You know the parents of all the students in your...
Most of them, yeah.
Really? Okay.
Most of them.
Good for you. I'm impressed.
Well, I know you hate talking to other adults at birthday parties. That's your one. I believe you're on the record as saying your least favorite part of being a dad.
First off, I think you're mischaracterizing that.
Is there mischaracterizing?
I think there are too many birthday parties as it is. I've said this. Like, I think I don't want to go down this
so
rabbit
grumpy.
hole.
Oscar
But no, there's so many. I like we're getting to the age now of the drop off parties, but you go to the party, you watch it's like the same thing every single weekend.
It's not that bad. The kids are having fun.
I get that, but I just think there's so many birthday parties. I think it'd be more efficient if once a month.
I could be working right now. Why am I here?
There was like a class, everyone in the class celebrates I feel like all I'm doing is shuttling from birthday party to game, to birthday party to practice, to birthday party to game to practice. Like that's what's going on here.
But what bothers you about it? That it's inefficient, that you're missing time, that you could be doing something else?
Well, no, I wouldn't say bother. I just think it becomes like repetitive. It's the same thing, and you probably don't appreciate it enough, right? When you're I don't know. We don't have to go down this rabbit hole. But my favorite time, by all means, is the card time with the kids, right? I love that, and we have good conversations with Sloan. We listen to Taylor Swift. With Reed, we're talking. We do sports trivia.
Talking ball.
Yeah, we do sports trivia. Easy, medium, hard.
Like you're coming up with them, or is this like an app that you have or something?
Oh no, I'm coming up with them. Yeah, we're testing. So we do. You can pick easy, medium, or hard. You can pick current, or I'm sorry. You can pick history. You can pick current Philadelphia team, or you can pick rest of the league.
Okay. Can I play this?
Sure. If you want, real quick. But then we should get back to practice observations.
Give me medium, rest of the league.
Medium, rest of the league. Okay. So that would be who is the starting first baseman for the Kansas City Royals?
Vinny Pasquantino?
There you go. Okay. You aced it. Good job.
I cannot believe I got that. That's
good work. So we just do this in the car.
Okay, give me hard Philadelphia team.
Hard Philadelphia. Okay, so do you want Phillies? Do you want Eagles? Do you want Flyers? Do you want Sixers?
Uh, I guess I'll take a hard Eagles. Why not?
You will take hard Eagles. Okay. Let me see. Hard Eagles for now. I'm doing this for you. It's a little different when I do it with Reed. Hard Eagles for Reed will be what college did Jordan Mailata go to? And it's a trick question because he didn't go to
Oh
college.
wow, you're trying to.
Well, that's a hard one
tough.
there. Yeah. Here you go. Okay. What number overall pick was Kenny Pickett?
19.
Kenny Pickett in the draft was the number 20 overall pick by the Pittsburgh
20.
Steelers.
Ah,
Yeah,
one
you were
off.
close. Anyways, yeah. So this is what we play in the car, and it's fun. Yeah.
And then
I
I'll
took
take
his.
one
I actually
easy
took his.
basketball question, please.
Okay, but real quick, I took a buddy of his to Wheelhouse. The other day, our friends at Wheelhouse, they had a kids card trade day, and we were playing this in the car, and it was great. You went easy history,
Easy basketball.
Easy basketball history. Okay. Who are the two players drafted ahead of Michael Jordan?
Sam Bowie, and this one's a good player. Clyde Drexler.
No, Hakeem Olajuwon. The
Olajuwon.
reason why why they did not take, why the Blazers did not take Jordan is they had Clyde Drexler.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I knew that. I did know that. I got the easy one wrong.
Yeah. Okay. You did a good job though. That's
It'd be funny if was that an easy one for Reed?
Yeah, that would be an easy one for Reed. Yeah.
Really?
Actually, probably not. Probably one player drafted ahead of Michael Jordan would be the easy one for Reed.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll do it for the PHLY Eagles podcast.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk depth chart notes on offense. And the one that everybody wanted to know, what's going to happen at right guard. I think as expected, Tyler Steen, the man there today, playing next to Mekhi Becton because Lane Johnson was not there. So Mekhi Becton, your first team right tackle in Lane Johnson's absence. And the thing that you and I talked about yesterday, Zach, that we were curious about is we expect it to be Tyler Steen at right guard. Where is Matt Hennessy? Is Matt Hennessy the second team center or is he the second team right guard, which would be an indication that maybe he is nipping at Tyler Steen's heels or he's the stalking horse, if you will. And it was right guard for Matt Hennessy. Again, on this day, could be different tomorrow, could have been different on Monday, could be different next week. But for today, it was Matt Hennessy. So I think that is something of an indication that he is the primary competitor to Tyler Steen right now. And also worth noting, 5th round pick Trevor Keegan, who we were wondering about, played exclusively at left guard at Michigan, but touted his ambidexterity both to the media and on our podcast a couple weeks ago. Would he be in the mix at right guard at this early juncture? The answer so far, no. He was at left guard today. So right now, as of May 22nd, looks like Tyler Steen and Matt Hennessy competing for that job.
Yeah, what did you make of that?
I thought it was interesting that Hennessy was at right guard. I thought that was interesting.
I would agree with you. I'm curious to see if this is a competition in the true sense, where I think back to the Mailata Dillard competition when it was a day on, day off, right? Mailata would have one day, Dillard would have the another day, or if the deck is stacked for Steen. You're in my head about that expression. Essentially, yeah. If the competition's rigged for Steen, how about that? If it's basically,
I don't think it's that it's rigged. It's that Hennessy is there as the low bar to clear. Like,
sure, okay, no, but if they will rotate, or if it's like Steen, you're here until you have a day when
well, that's not a competition.
When you don't exactly, but it's not like you're entrenched in the spot. Like Cam Jurgens could have 8 bad practices and no one's taking over. He's the starting center, right?
I don't know,
but
Dylan McCarthy might have something to say about that.
Maybe Dylan McMahon too. But
okay. I feel like I have done that before.
That you're calling him Dylan McCarthy?
I think it's probably not the first time I've made that mistake.
I think I've called him Ryan McMahon sometimes. I'm watching too many Colorado Rockies games, right? How about Ezekiel Tovar hitting 2 homers?
The fact that if you've watched 2, you've watched too many.
No, Ezekiel Tovar went deep twice last night. So
Okay.
fun
How
to
did
watch.
my guy Elias Diaz is still injured, right?
Yeah, they had
Um,
Hunter Goodman playing catcher last night, I believe.
Okay.
Got if my memory serves. I was honestly juggling between a few games. So
Okay.
yeah, no, I thought the same thing there about the fact that Keegan was at left guard, the fact that Hennessy was at right guard. I do think the Hennessy Steen competition will go on, but I think they're going to give Steen a chance to win this competition.
Okay. Give me 1 second here to respond to a text, and then I'll tell you what the rest of the offensive line depth chart was.
Well, while you're
Did anything else jump out to you?
I will say while you're responding to the text, with Lane Johnson not at practice today, Mekhi Becton was the first team right tackle. Okay, and why is that relevant? Well, Becton's mostly been a left tackle in the NFL, played some right tackle last year. He resisted moving to right tackle. He doesn't have that choice this year, of course, right? He's going to be the swing tackle for the Eagles. But you could say, would you start him on the left side? Would you start him on the right side? Putting him with the first team, I guess, makes sense to have him at right tackle. But the way I look at it, what's there a better likelihood of occurring? Lane Johnson going down or Jordan Mailata going down? Injuries are not always sticky, but I think it makes sense for them to prepare Mekhi Becton for the right side this year.
100%. Yeah, I think so. Now we can get in a minute to the guys who jumped out to us from a what did they look like size standpoint, but yeah, Mekhi Becton's is a big old fella.
Yeah, he dwarfed Dankwa.
Oh, did you think so? I actually thought Danquil looked pretty good. To me, it was more he dwarfed Fred Johnson, who Fred Johnson had been the monster, and now all of a sudden, Fred Johnson's no longer the
Okay,
monster.
I didn't see him and Johnson next. So I saw him and Dankwa next to each other, and
Okay.
at the rookie camp, Dankwa was like the guy. You saw Dankwa rookie camp;
Yeah.
he's towering over everyone. And here, I don't want to say dwarfing, but like I saw, I saw this video on Twitter of Drake May and Jason Tatum talking to each other, and like Drake May, who's a big dude, you see Drake May with the quarterbacks, he stands out. He's 6'5", right? When he talks to Jason Tatum, he looks like me talking to you, right? So I would say that Dankwa was definitely smaller than Becton.
You got on me so hard when I once remarked about seeing James Harden come out of the Eagles tunnel, towering over all the big players on the football field, and now you're giving me Drake May, Jason Tatum, that's breaking news. Come on, you can't have it both ways.
I was saying I was using it as
That's the
illustration.
most.
You were like
That's the most
surprised.
you've poo-pooed anything I've ever said.
Yeah, because you were like, I can't believe how tall James Harden is. And I was like, I can tell you how tall James Harden
Yeah, I
is.
know how tall he is, but he's up. He's like taller than an offensive lineman.
I don't know. That's like going to
Basketball guys are
Syracuse.
tall.
That's like going to Syracuse in December. It's like, can you believe the snow? Like, yeah, I can believe the snow.
But you
Right?
just said it about Drake May and Jason Tatum.
I was illustrating. What I was doing. They say in writing, show don't tell. Okay, what I was doing. I don't write as much anymore, but I'm showing, not telling. I'm giving you an illustration of what occurred there.
I think you're being a bit of a hypocrite.
Wow, hypocrite! Come on,
Yeah,
fighting words at 4:42.
you were throwing me under the bus, and now you're doing the same thing.
No, because I'm not surprised that Drake May is smaller than Jason Tatum. I was giving a comparison when I saw Drake
So was
May
I.
next to Jason Tatum. And so I was basically, it's like the analogies on the SATs. Okay, Dankwa is to Becton as May, or as May is the Tatum. That's what I was doing.
I think that's a stretch, but that's okay.
Okay.
All right, rest of the offensive line depth chart for this day. Second team. Fred Johnson, left tackle. Darian Kennard. What?
How long have you been hanging on to that James Harden thing?
I had totally forgotten about it. Until you just said it.
that happened in the Minnesota game in 2022.
No, I think we talked about it again. We talked about it again at some point on this iteration of the show, maybe in the fall. And maybe you were just having a bad day.
I feel like that'd be like if I was talking to Joy and I'm like, you didn't respond to my I am in 1997, right? So it's like,
well, we already know she doesn't remember your famous dinner in Hoboken.
It certainly wasn't famous, but
it is on this show.
It is on this show, sure.
Second team offensive line. Fred Johnson, left tackle. Darian Kennard, left guard. Brett Toth at center. Kind of interesting because that meant that Matt Hennessy was at right guard and Anim Dankwa was at right tackle. Then with the threes, you had Trevor Keegan at left guard, Dylan McMahon at center, Jason Poe at right guard. We will get to. I'm forgetting the left tackle. Who was the left tackle?
With the second team, Fred
67.
Johnson.
No, Laik and Vakalahi.
Yes. Yep.
And then Gottlieb Ayedje was at right tackle. Okay, I want to talk body type for a second because Becton is the one who's blocking the sun, but by far the best body from an aesthetic perspective on the Eagles 90-man roster right now is right guard Jason Poe, who is usually a center by trade. And Jason Poe is listed at 6'1", 300. He looks 5'10", 340. Just a true bowling ball, like a Humpty Dumpty type deal, and it is beautiful to watch. I hope so badly that he makes the team. To watch this guy is a pure delight. That is exactly the guy that I want to see on a football field.
For Jason Poe's sake, I hope he's 340 because if he's working his butt off to get the 310, and it's like if you see a photo of yourself, you're like, oh, I don't, it's like I don't like that shot. You're saying he looks 340, 310 and 340. It's not like you're saying this guy looks.
He doesn't, and it's not sloppy. He looks, he's in good shape, but there's a bit of a shorter King Kong Bundy type build where it's just like this guy, you believe that if he were to tuck in, you could just sort of push him around the field as a ball.
Now, do you think this goes back, I suppose, to our football basketball conversation in a certain respect? In any walk of life, or I should say, in most walks of life, if you're say you're 5'10", 340, to use the numbers you said. But if you're 6'1", 320, 5'10", 340, you're probably one of the bigger guys in the room. Do you think in the offensive line room they're picking on Jason Poe?
Right.
Yeah, like Becton and
I thought you were going to go a different way. I thought you were going to go in what other walk of life do people just remark about your physical makeup like this?
I'm
looking across the field and I'm like, oh, Jalen Hunt's got a high ass. He's very high waisted. That's interesting. Are there accountants who have to deal with this?
Yeah. We're well beyond that. I always think of that in our press conference settings or in the interview settings when I'm like, how much do you weigh right now? I couldn't ask that in any other thing. And then, or if someone is adding weight, oh, what'd you do to put on that weight? What did you eat? Right.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody,
what is it, the classic reporter question. Yeah.
Yeah.
You put on 30 pounds of something. What did you do? I mean, I asked that question too. It's, often middle of the night peanut butter and jellies is what they will say.
And then the standard reporter answer there is, I did that and I wasn't trying. Right. You always say that.
Of course.
Yeah.
So Jason Poe, one to watch for me. Fantastic. Just give me that all day long.
Okay. Well, you'll have preseason with Jason Poe.
I hope so.
We're gonna build up. He went to Mercer, right? We're gonna build up our Mercer audience on this show.
Yeah.
Mercer Bears, is it?
But it was actually kind of interesting to me that he was at right guard because, does Brett Toth need to be the second team center right now? Can we see Jason Poe there? But
Stoutland loves him some Brett Toth, that's for sure. And I like Brett Toth.
He does. He does. Yeah, you and Beto have a good connection.
He's the new. I don't know what to say. Maybe we'll say Richard Rodgers. Maybe we'll say Suo Pet. His staying power here is pretty long. He's
a lot of transactions. A lot of times he's left and come back.
Exactly. So, good for him. He came here in 19, and we're in 24 now. He's still hanging on.
There you go. All right, Zach. Let me tell you about our friends at Butcher Box. I don't know if you're going to be firing up that grill tonight.
Well,
cooking a couple steaks for you and Emily and letting the kids fend for themselves. Maybe eat a squirrel if they catch one. But
Nah, chicken nuggets from them.
but if you're not Zach's child and you want to buy the meat yourself, you can go to Butcher Box because Butcher Box offers 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, pork raised crate-free, and wild-caught seafood. We are talking high-quality stuff at a reasonable price and every bit the convenience that you need. Delivered right to your doorstep with free shipping always and curated box plans for what you need. Do you want a bit of a selection, a bit of a variety with some pork and some chicken and some meat, or do you want to just be a beef boy like Zach? They can do whatever you want, and they will give you some recipe inspirations, which I know I need sometimes because the brain power to have to think about what am I going to cook again? What am I going to cook tomorrow night? Oh, this meal's over. What am I going to make the next time? It's exhausting. And Butcher Box can help you out with that decision fatigue, as Zach's boy likes to say. So, Butcher Box, for our listeners, offering an amazing offer where new users can get free meat plus $20 off your first box. Join today using our link at butcherbox.com/PHLY and use code PHLY to receive this exclusive offer today before time runs out.
So then let me tell you then about Mortgage CS because Mortgage CS this is a time of year. I've talked about it. It's home buying season for some people, and it's a really competitive market. I hear these stories of open houses where you need to come with your mortgage ready and have an offer in hand because it won't be there by the end of the day. And you need to know that today's real estate market, like I said, ultra competitive. Prospective home buyers, perhaps just like you, are missing out on opportunities to win the perfect home. But why? It's because you don't have Mortgage CS in your corner. It may be news to you, but the mortgage company you choose matters more than ever. Even if you are already in the market, you can still explore your options with Mortgage CS. This is home financing. It's not a marriage. You may be shocked at how much money you can save. Mortgage CS so it's definitely not a marriage, by the way. Mortgage CS is an independent mortgage broker in the Philly area. That means they won't steer you to just one mortgage option or what's best for you. They work for you, not the banks. Ben and Alec at Mortgage CS will ensure you have rock solid pre-approval, and they'll take the time to explore anything you want. What a novel idea. That's what Mortgage CS is. It's the mortgage concierge service. In the end, you'll be so happy you texted Ben, the CEO of Mortgage CS, at 267-391-7425. There's a reason people win more with Mortgage CS, so call or text Ben now at 267-391-7425 and see for yourself. You can also go to www.mortgagecs.com/PHLY to check them out or view their 370-plus perfect 5-star reviews by searching Mortgage CS right now. This advertisement is not a commitment to lend or extend credit. Mortgage CS is an equal housing opportunity mortgage broker. All loans are subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions may apply. The company NMLS ID is number 1464766. You can visit mortgagecs.com for more information.
All right, Zach. Now we are back live tomorrow, back in the studio at noon.
Yeah.
We don't want to shoot our load entirely on everything we saw today. We save a little bit of leftovers for tomorrow. What would you like to get into in the remaining minutes of this episode?
Yeah, we'll get into the nitty gritty tomorrow in terms of the observations. Let's do it for the final segment here. Let's do like your big picture takeaway. So I was on the phone with someone on the way back
Jeffrey?
Not Jeffrey, no. But the person asked like what did you learn today? What were the big things you took away here? So I'm curious, like the high level item. I'm your editor, and I'm in a different market, and I'm talking to you after practice, and I'm saying what was the biggest thing that happened today? And you tell me the depth chart stuff, and I said outside the depth chart stuff, what stood out to you? What stood out to you today?
I would say, from a coaching standpoint, watching Nick Sirianni today was interesting to me. And there is all the noise about what could have happened in the offseason, him potentially losing his job and the Bill Belichick stuff and all that. And the Eagles bring in these two coordinators who he hasn't worked directly with before, save for the Fangio thing. It feels like his power has been neutered. And all of that stuff may be true and is true. But I think when you watch Sirianni on the practice field, like that's where he wants to be. That's the place where I think he feels like he belongs, and he sort of looks the part there. Like it's interesting, he's getting on. It's actually pretty funny given that like Aaron Moorhead was one of the coaches retained. Like Nick Sirianni was just hammering Aaron Moorhead at one point for I think it was a substitution error during 7-on-7s. But like in individual drills, he's coaching up Johnny Wilson, very hands on. I think Johnny Wilson's coming across the middle of the field. The ball is thrown behind him a little bit, so he has to reach back. But then Johnny Wilson tries to pull it around and continue going up the field the same way he was running. And Sirianni's like, if the ball is thrown behind you, pivot and go up the field the other way. That's the coaching point. And we know that he tries to be obsessive about the details, and watching him get to do that with the full team, this new roster, was interesting. And it's like, the question is like Nick Sirianni going to be sort of this wet dog this season, right? This guy who has been like neutered to some extent. And I did not see that today. I thought that he was full of the energy that he probably thinks that he needs.
Good observation. Well, we should inform our listeners just visually what we saw from the coordinators. What did you see from the two coordinators today?
Well, I mean, Fangio delivered on what we were hoping to see from yesterday. Now, it was not hiked up gym shorts, but it was like, grandpa khaki shorts, which, listen, I got a pair of those too. You might see me in those around town. But
really? You wear the pleats? You have the pleats in your khaki shorts?
Oh, did he have pleats?
Oh, I don't know. When I think of grandpa khaki shorts, I think of pleats. I think of
just nondescript khaki shorts.
I had khaki shorts on, but they're like the sport material, I don't know what I don't know what I would call this material, but I don't know if they're grandpa khaki shorts. My grandfather certainly doesn't wear these shorts. But go on.
It'd be weird if he was stealing your shorts.
Yeah, that'd be very weird. My grandfather was much taller than I am, so I don't think they would fit in them. Yeah.
Almost played with Will Chamberlain.
Yeah, they went to Overbrook together.
Yeah. But he was with those khaki shorts wearing just a full hooded sweatshirt. It was a nice throwback Kelly Green one. But yeah, I mean, it's 85 degrees out there, and he's out there sweating in a sweatshirt, which is exactly what you wanted to see. Sort of.
He definitely prefers the Kelly Green look. He's like, I think Vic is. I mean, Vic probably goes into Jeffrey's office and is like, "Why did you change from Kelly Green?" He's all about the Kelly Green. I imagine it brings him back to the days of the NFL in the 80s and the 90s, early 90s. It was pure, right? So,
yes. And then Kellen Moore also in a throwback shirt, Kelly Green T-shirt. And you and I think you agreed with me that from a distance, Kellen Moore, the way that he carries himself and walks around. Oh, here we go. Got some B-roll now for the live viewers, courtesy of Julia and Bo Wulf's videography. Carries himself, looks a little bit from a distance like Howie Roseman, and you can see him there on the left side as he just walked off the screen. And that is to say, not necessarily like, as you said, Zach, looking like, Mr. Quarterback, who has, as you said, were second in Heisman voting once upon a time.
Yeah, I think when we bring up the B-roll, we get the echo in the background. Yeah, okay. But I like the B-roll there. Good job by Bo shooting that, and we'll incorporate more of that as we go on here. Yeah, I would think quarterbacks in general kind of have like a certain presence sometimes. Like you can tell when the quarterback's in the room. There's this expression, I forget who said it. Whether it was Bill Simmons or it was one of Bill Simmons' guests one time. But, if like four people are getting in the car together, the quarterback's always asking for the keys, right? The quarterback has that type of alpha to him. And Kellen Moore blends in a little more, right? So you forget the fact that this guy was This guy was awesome. And I think of, Doug Peterson and Frank Reich. They had a certain like presence in terms of the way they stood. It's totally superficial,
Big
right?
chest,
Totally
yeah,
superficial.
puffed out
Yeah,
chest.
yeah, totally superficial, right? But Kellen Moore, I mean, we've talked about him at Boise State, and he played he played for the Lions, he played for the Cowboys. So interested in getting to know Kellen Moore a little bit more.
What would have been your answer to the question you posed about your big takeaway for a national perspective?
So I've obviously watched Saquon Barkley play a lot of football, like Penn State, the Giants. He played the Eagles twice a year. He's on TV a lot, higher profile back than DeMarco Murray, right? We know all that, but seeing him in person and seeing him next to the other running backs, he looks different, right? He moves different, he runs different, he catches different, and he looks different. Like he looks like a star running back, right? So that's that. There's nothing in practice where I would say like, wow, Saquon wowed me here. He actually, there was a play along the sideline right in front of us when it seemed like Devin White ran stride for stride with him. But yeah, as you see in the footage up on the screen, good job here. When he's standing there with Will Shipley, who's actually looks bigger than you might expect. When you see
thought
him,
so?
yeah. Do you disagree?
I didn't think so,
Okay.
but that's okay.
When you
That's why
see him
Baskin
with
Robbins has 31
when you
different
see him
flavors.
with when you see him with Kenny Gainwell, he is when you see him with your boy Lou Nichols. Yeah, Saquon stands out. He's different,
Okay.
and it might just be like the swag that he has on the field too, right?
We talked to Saquon after practice. Zach, what did you learn?
Saquon and Bo, two kindred spirits. They both love being on the golf course.
Not really.
Saquon, yes. Anytime Saquon's not at football, he wants to be golfing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get to get out there that often. He's out there all the
Yeah,
time, apparently.
but you love a day on the course.
That's debatable.
You and She'll do your meetups on the course. Yeah. Am I wrong there?
I mean, I like sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't like it.
Okay. Well, Saquon, look, he was inside the ropes at the PGA Championship.
Mm,
As someone who has been inside the ropes before, I could. I hope
Bigfoot.
he followed the rules. I hope he followed the rules because I did not.
Mm.
I've told that story on the show in the past. I'll say for our new listeners, my first time ever on a golf course, ever. Like I admit, I'm not a golfer. I don't know golf. I think golf growing up. I was at the Washington Post, and I was assigned to cover the AT&T National July 4th weekend, 2008. And I studied golf so I can prepare for it, but I had never actually been to a golf match at that point. And they give you this pass to go
I
in.
mean, to call it a golf match is
Or golf tournament. Golf tournament. I'm
a
sorry.
big tell to begin with.
Yeah, a golf tournament. And so so they give you this. So I am but the one thing I am is I am a dutiful and obedient reporter. So my assignment that day was
Dutiful and
Anthony.
obedient. Is that what you said?
Yeah. So I had to follow Anthony Kim. And so I get told to follow Anthony Kim. And I get this pass where you can go inside the ropes. And I thought that meant like you can go anywhere inside the ropes. So I think he started on the back 9, if this is correct. So he started at hole 10. And he tees off. I know that expression. He tees off. And the person he's playing with tees off. And then they walk to their ball. And then I just follow him like in the middle of the fairway.
In the middle of the fairway.
Just like walking behind him. And a great reporter who I like, a senior reporter at the Post. He's like, Mortimer, Berman, what are you doing? He calls me over, and I come over. I'm like, I got the pass. I can go inside the ropes. And he looks at me. He's like, we're not. You have to be along the rope. So, anyways, that's my inside the rope story. But Saquon Barkley was inside the ropes at the PGA Championship. He He golfs with Will Greer. He golfs with Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett shoots well relative to him, but he says that's why there's a handicap. So he's
No,
grateful
no,
for
no,
the
no.
handicap. Oh,
Will Greer shoots well compared to him. Kenny Pickett only just
oh,
recently broke 100 for the first time, he said,
oh, okay, gotcha. All right,
but he only just started playing.
and that's why there's a handicap. Okay.
I don't know if it's good for like Saquon's initiation into the roster if his best buddy is Will Greer.
I mean, it's not.
That's a red
He's looking
flag,
for,
don't you think?
well, he's looking for someone to play 18 with.
You're about to pick a guy who's
Players.
going to make the team, Saquon.
Well, no, so you need to narrow this down. You need to narrow it down to people who are who play golf and people who are in the area away from their family and people who don't have anyone else to play golf with right now, right?
Get
So
Grant Calcaterra out there or something.
okay, but yeah, so
Landon
Saquon's looking for
Dickerson,
something.
Landon and Jordan Mailata play. Like, take those guys out. They're the ones you got to butter up.
Well, they should invite him, right? He's
Will
he's a
Greer.
he's a new guy. He's looking for someone to sit with at the lunch table. Will Greer's sitting by himself. He says, "Can I join you?" Right? He says,
Yeah.
"Oh, Will, Will, what do you like to do? I like to golf. Saquon, I love the golf. Yeah. Do you want to go out tomorrow? Yeah. I know a guy at Ramblewood, right? Is that where our
Oh,
tournament
man,
is?
I mean, I do not think that they're going to Ramblewood, but
Well, no, that's where the PHL is. That where the PH? I hope I'm not wrong here. Where's the PHLY?
it is not at Ramblewood. It is a
Oh,
different
sorry. Okay.
course.
Sorry. Okay. I apologize. Okay. Well, I should have known that. That shows you how little I know about golf. Here you go.
Wow,
Joey's
all over
incredible.
it. Valley
Valley
Country
Brook,
Club,
Valley Brook
July
Country Club,
13th. If you're
Blackwood,
around,
New
2
Jersey,
o'clock.
July 13th.
Early
Yes,
bird pricing, the inaugural PHLY Liberty Open. Unfortunately, I will not be there, but
2 p.m. shotgun start.
you
I
can be there.
am not able to go to that day either, but I am eager to hear all about it, and I look forward to that next one.
Me too. Hopefully, I can make the next one.
I hope so too. Yeah.
What else?
But yeah, then there's a lot of other stuff that we'll get into in tomorrow's show because
The
we can
nitty
get
and the
into the
gritty.
nitty-gritty. Yeah, but I like the way Devin White ran, but you expect Devin White to run like that in shorts and shells, right? This is a fast linebacker should be fast during OTAs, right? That jumps out to me. I thought Jalen held the ball. He held the ball long on a few of those plays. Am I wrong
I agree
there?
with that.
Okay, but I'm not gonna nitpick or pick nits. And yeah, so those are a few of the top line items for EJ Jenkins. Got on my radar a few times. Made some
Nice
catches.
throw by Tanner McKee.
Yeah, so just gives you a little tease of what to look forward
I
to
think
tomorrow.
Eagles. I think PHLY Eagles podcast listeners will be completely unsurprised how I feel about the stacking up of the number 3 and number 2 quarterbacks.
You're
But we can
down on
get to that
pick.
tomorrow. It's not even that I'm down on Pickett. It's just Tanner McKee looks better.
Is it the gloves? Are you anti gloves?
It depends on the situation.
When you watch Kenny Pickett at practice, are you like, why is he wearing gloves, or do you like that?
If the gloves how you throw, you gotta go.
Okay. My son has a pair of football gloves, and when he puts those gloves on, that means he's ready to go out and have a catch. And so he'll come up and I'll see those gloves and I'll say, Reed, I can't right now. I will in a half hour, and then he'll go outside and he'll have a catch with himself. He'll throw it up and he'll run under it and catch it. But
Now we're talking.
he needs those gloves in order to play football. So when the gloves are on, it's football. No gloves, basketball. Baseball glove, obviously baseball.
Okay. Good stuff.
Yep.
Shout out to Reed.
Shout out
All
to
right. Zach, that'll do it for this episode of the PHLY Eagles podcast. The first part of your review of the open OTA for the Eagles. Back tomorrow at noon to talk a little bit more about some of the specific plays and stuff that we saw, some sights and sounds, all that good stuff. We'll look forward to it. So for Zach and Julia, who has just been all over producing this episode, we thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow. And as always, we love you.